What's going on, everybody? Kami and Savage here from Team Toon Rose, and we're bringing you guys some spicy decks for this episode of
Rogue Tier Rundown. Welcome today, guys. So Speedroids is a very consistent deck as far as things go down to it. They have an ability to continuously search Speedroids out of the deck, and they have a way to consistently use their graveyard as well as special summon themselves to the field. Meaning, your normal summon is usually used towards the end of the turn, or at the start of the turn, to find something for you to combo into. The deck is centralized around specifically synchro summoning. The deck does a really good job at it too, for being able to steal things from your opponent's board. You can use stuff from your graveyard, you can change your own monster's levels, making it extremely easy to get into whatever boss monster you see fit for any situation. Be feasible while playing Speedroids to have a Baron de Floor on the field, as well as a Clear Wing Synchro Dragon, or even Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon, giving 2 negates at the start of a turn. So the easy way that they do this is by using Terratop, which is limited to 1. Probably one of the strongest cards in Speedroids' toolbox. And attack a Tom board, which sacrifices itself to find a Speedroid. And then Den Daiku, which exiles itself from the graveyard and special summon a tuner. You usually go into your rubber band plane, which allows you to get a free normal summon and fetch a card out of the deck. The deck, however, does not run too many spells, so that's kind of one of its weak points. If you see them going for a spell, you can easily target that. Those of which will be Speedroid Scratch, Speedroid Wheel, and Recovery, alongside maybe a few others, but those are the main ones. As far as traps go, they don't really have much room for interaction because their entire archetype is built around them being locked into wind monsters. So they'll only have traps that interrupt stuff to basically say, no, you can't special summon, stuff like that. That's where they're trying to interrupt. That's about all I can think for Speedroids. Their favorable matchups are anything that doesn't have a lot of interaction. They can quickly swarm the board with all of these synchro monsters, which they're limited to running only wind synchro monsters, but wind has some really strong ones.
Alright, now my turn. I'm bringing you guys the Skystrikers. Not just any Skystrikers, the DPE Adventure Skystrikers package. Now, Skystrikers have been in Master Duel since the game is released. They have been somewhat, like, they were in meta for a good while, but they are on the lower side of the meta. Don't get me wrong, they're a good combo deck by themselves, but they do lack that necessity for what really drives a meta deck, you know. But with the release of the DPE and the adventure packages and everything like that, the deck has turned up a new notch in the game itself. And recently, it has won it came second in the North American Championships for the TCG, and a little while ago, it also came first, I believe, in some other tournament. So the Skystrikers are starting to make a comeback, so I figured it's time to showcase these Skystriker decks one more time. Before I actually start getting into what makes the Skystrikers tick, we have done both these decks in our Friday deck profiles. So yeah, make sure you guys go back and watch those as well, because you see how things change and how the meta changes and all of that good stuff. But anyway, so with the Skystrikers, you have your important, your important cards. You have all of your Skystriker links that you're going to be trying to link climb into. But you do have your main card that you need to focus on, your Skystriker Ace Ray. Now, if Ray gets banished from your graveyard, you're going to be in a problem because Skystriker Ace Ray needs to stay in that graveyard at all times for you to have the most optimal outcome you could ask for playing Skystrikers. Because without Skystriker Ace Ray, it's going to be a little bit of a pain in the boot to go into your link climb. But, like I said, with the introduction to the DPE package, DPE and Adventure package, you do now have some support. It also helps cards like Celine. You're able to get into Celine going into Access Code Talker a little bit easier because, hey, now you have an Omni Negate that will negate almost anything, and you have the DPE that will, boom, gone. You can also run Ghost Bell Ghost Ogre in the deck if you wanted to. If you want, your Ash Blossom and your Ghost Bell along with your Effect Veiler. It's really up to you. But you are going to be mainly running a lot of spell cards in this deck. Back Row Destruction, Monster Destruction, your Skystriker Ace, or your Skystriker spell cards, Field Spell, Trap cards. If you're a player who really likes to rely on trap cards, you're going to be a little bit disappointed because Skystrikers don't really run traps all too often. Maybe you're Imperm and an occasional other trap or two, but that's really about it. You're not going to see trap cards in this deck. The things to really look out for are decks that are going to completely shut down your graveyard. So, Gravekeepers, watch out for that because if they get Necro Valley out on the field along with their Supernaturalist, it is going to be a problem. Obviously your Call by the Graves, effects with Ash Blossom, DD Crows, 13 other cards I can probably list, but I'm not going to for sake of time. But yeah, the graveyard is your graveyard is probably your vulnerable muscle in the deck because it's the easiest way to shut down Skystrikers. Another thing that shuts down this deck is when you start going into your link climb, anything that stops that is going to really set you back. Now, obviously, like I said, it's easy to get back into it with Skystriker Ace Ray, but if they've banished that from your graveyard, you're gonna have a very, very bad time. And then, what was the other one? Really, anything that just controls the board. Anything that controls the board, with Skystrikers have a little bit of a tough time. Again, with the help of the Adventure and DPE packages, it makes it a little bit easier for you to play Skystrikers without having to be like, oh my god, what's that face-down card? What's that face-down card? I don't know what that face-down card is. I'm freaking out, but don't worry. DPE and the Adventure package got you covered. This deck is pretty much set in stone in its ways with Adventure and DPE, so there's not too much room. Oh, I also forgot Nibiru. 1, 2, or 3 copies of that for your more powerful combo-heavy meta decks like the Adventure Prank Kids. Easy way to counter that. But there's a little bit of stuff you can do with this deck.
Ooh, meta. Jank Rogue, yay.
But with all that said, you guys, thank you so much for tuning into this video. If you haven't yet, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe while you're at it. And you guys get notified from when we upload juiciest content to the YouTubes. And the best content while I'm at it. I'm Kami, he's Savage, and we will see you all in that next video. Peace.
Keep it speedy.